and they're beautiful. How's it going, guys? It's absolutely bloody freezing, but I've come up to this beautiful spot today because I want to show you this. My new to me Multistrada 1200S Touring. Isn't she beautiful? I just hope you can hear me alright, because it's very windy. I've got the dead cut on the microphone, and I'm using the Sony camera today, not the GoPro. But yeah, she's beautiful. So we're just going to do a bit of a first impression review. I've not had her long, probably about 2-3 weeks, but I've only really been out on her twice. There wasn't really long enough times to be able to sort of give you my kind of feeling towards this bike. Never really I was a massive Ducati fan. Always been a big Ducati fan. The only thing I haven't liked is the way they sound. But let me tell you, after having this, it's growing on me, and I absolutely love the sound of it. It's amazing. But yeah, just to walk around it, I've had some new tyres on it. So I've had the Avon Spirit STs, which I think are phenomenal tyres. Really like these tyres. This one is the Touring, so it comes with a centre stand, as you can see there. And then you've also got the heated grips, which these heated grips, they actually, when the bike's running, you have to press that, which is the start button, to use the heated grips, which is weird, but it is quite good actually. I've quite got used to that. But it's keyless ignition, so I've got my key in there at the minute, and basically you've got that, you just pull that down, back up, press the button, and away you go. I'll not do it because it's in gear, and then press down. But yeah, absolutely love this bike. So yeah, like I say, with it being the Touring, you do get a bigger screen. I've actually changed the screen on this one, and it does nothing really, but I wanted the screen so you could it gives a better camera angle. But the other one, the original screen, which is a bit taller, to be honest, I'm 5'11", doesn't really do much. Buffers the top of your head, you can lift it up, but it's not the greatest. So this comes also with the panniers, the Ducati panniers, which again, like the Kawasaki that I had, the system where it just clicks on there is brilliant, so you've not got all that framework. It has got a Ducati top box as well. I've took that off at the minute, but that's just a small bar that comes up there, you can't really see it. And the top box is quite a big top box as well. Put the old private plate on as well. But no, I love it. It's got the Skyhook suspension, which you can see there, and basically that's a semi-automatic suspension, so you can set it to your desired settings, and it sorts it all out for you, which is really good. And I must say, it's really comfy as well. But it's in a nice silver. I do like the silver, and you don't really see many of these silver ones out. You don't see many of these silver ones out there. I do really like the red ones as well, but this one, it's a 2014 and it's got less than 9,000 miles on it. They do get serviced. I think it's every 15,000 miles you've got to get them serviced, but I know this one's had the belts done anyway, but I think you've got to get the valves done. Is it the valves? Yeah. I love this. Really bright indicators on your handguards, which is really good. They're a little bit flimsy, but you can get the bars the bulkbusters that go across and support them, which I did with the Africa Twin when I had that. But there she is, the beautiful Ducati Multistrada. It's 150 brake horsepower, and she does go. Standard exhaust on it, which I do like, so I won't be changing that. But yeah, I love it. Absolutely rides like a dream. So that's the walk around, guys. Let's get on the bike and tell you what I think of it. See you in a bit. So good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are. My name's Jay, welcome to the channel. So as I was saying, we're going to talk about this bike. I'll give you the walk around. I think I'd just briefly touched on what this bike had got. I'll say it is the touring pack. So it does come with the boxes and the top box and the panniers, which are the OEM Ducati ones, which I'm really pleased about because they cost an absolute fortune if you have to buy them retrospectively. So, but yeah, like I was saying about the suspension, and the reason I got this bike was because it's got this Skyhook suspension on it, which is like your semi-automatic suspension, if that's the right terminology for it. I do apologise if not. And basically you set it up to your settings, and one of the big pluses on this bike is the fact that these roads, like this road that I'm on now, I do a lot of this sort of riding, and I've got my Bullet which I take off road. It just hasn't got enough power to, you know, warrant a spirited ride, if you like. And I tend to just stay local, where with this I can sort of like it, the Multistrada, I think it means all roads, so basically goes anywhere. Now obviously that's dependent on your tyres. I've just got road tyres on here, like I mentioned. I've got the STs, so I'm still getting used to it. Yeah, I've got the Avon Spirit STs, which I really do like those tyres. I was a big Michelin Road Pilot advocate. I really like those tyres as well. These are slightly cheaper. That's not the reason I got them. I thought I'd try them, and I absolutely love them. I've been riding through all weathers. I've had them on the Kawasaki, ice, rain, wind, really shitty up roads, and I absolutely love the tyres. They roll round corners. They don't tend to flatten off as much as your Road Pilots do. And even though, you know, I don't really do a lot of sort of motorway rides and stuff like that, the Road Pilots were still, because they've got different compounds, you're still noticing that they had flattened off a little bit, where these don't tend to. And that's why I really like these tyres. I did change the screen because the screen was okay. The screen was okay. It didn't really do much, but I'm not really one for being too worried about the wind, if you like. I know it can probably go a bit tiresome if you went on tour and you've got wind blasting in your face if you're doing motorway miles, but it doesn't really bother me. I know it causes issues, like now you're going to probably really hear the wind noise on the microphone, but you know, if I'm on fast roads and stuff, I don't tend to do a lot of, especially on motorways, I don't tend to do a lot of vlogging anyway. So I'm going to keep that down to a minimum, and if it's that bad I'll just cut it out. So obviously I'm not going to cut this out because this is quite key because I'm talking about the bike, but yeah, it's got full service history with it, and I know there's a lot of stigma that comes with Ducati, like there is with other bikes like your KTMs, your Harley Davidsons. You know, there's a lot of stigma with them bikes, but I think if you look after the bike, it looks after you, really, don't it? But yeah, I got this because it's an all-rounder, and it's very comfortable as well. I'm sat upright. I'm sat more upright than I was on the Kawasaki. The Kawasaki were very comfy. I don't think the seat is as comfortable as it was on the Kawasaki, but maybe that's because I am sat upright and I'm putting more pressure on my coccyx. I don't know. I'll do. But I love the handlebar positions as well. You can raise these. I'm not going to raise them. I think I'm up enough. Because the other thing is as well, this has got loads of power. Loads of power. I'm actually in touring mode. It's got 4 modes. So you've got your touring mode, you've got your sport mode, you've got enduro if you want to take it off road, which alters all your ABS and traction control, things like that. And then you've got an urban, which is a lower powered one, because in the urban and the enduro it puts out 100 brake horsepower, but when it's in touring and sport it's 150 brake horsepower, and it is very, very torquey. The only thing there's a couple of things I don't like about this bike. I don't like, for one, I didn't like the screen. I didn't like the fact that it doesn't really offer any protection. I'm sure you could sort that with a proper setup screen, with a bit that clips on the top of the original visor. I don't know. The other one is when you're in low gear, when you're in low speed, some bikes you know you can leave. This has got to be right down in probably 2nd gear, because it's quite lumpy. It's ride by wire throttle, and it's very lumpy at lower speeds. But you know, it's not a problem. It's not really a problem. I'll do. No. I don't know where I'll sit now, and I don't know what genre I'll sit in, because I don't know if this comes under sports tourer or it's an adventure tourer, or you know, people see it as an adventure bike or whatever. I don't know. But oh yeah, just stop in there. That's the other thing. So brakes as well. So the brakes, really good front brake. Back brake, not too sure about, but I think there's a bit of an issue with the back brake on this one, on the Multistradas anyway. I don't know if they've sorted that for your newer ones, but the back brake, you sort of press it and it's like, it works, but there's like, you don't really feel like there's a lot there. And I think it's something to do with the positioning of the lines. When they get hot and they take on moisture, I think it causes a bit of an issue. So this thing's on YouTube. You can check these things on YouTube, where it says about what fluid to put in there, which helps that, and what other things you can do. So if you've got one of these, just check that out. But it tends to be a bit of an issue that's talked about, but it's not major. It's not major for me. Like I say, the bike stops. It's very, very good brakes. The Brembo brakes, twin caliper on the front, twin discs, and yeah, obviously ABS, traction control and things like that as well. But yeah, no, I really am sort of loving this bike, and the more I ride it and the more I sort of get used to it, because that's the other thing as well, because it's no slouch. A lot of bikes, you can jump on one bike to another. I mean, I've done it where I've jumped on like cruisers, like I've been on Harley Davidson's, jumped straight onto a sports tourer. I've been on sports bikes, and you've got to respect the throttle. And I must say, this one probably takes a little bit more to get used to, because it's very, see, look at that. I mean, just a slight twist of the throttle, and I feel like it wants to rip me off. And that's just like, that's in your touring mode. That's in touring mode. And I just watch my speed on here, because the speed camera's on here. We're on Stocksbridge bypass at the minute, which is just near Sheffield, Yorkshire. But yeah, it's very torquey, and it does take a bit of getting used to. So just watch out for that. If you get one of these, just respect that throttle. Because I've sort of done a bit of research into these anyway, and the Multistrada is a bike that I've always wanted, and yeah, I could have got a newer one, but this has been well looked after. It's immaculate. It's got full service history. Like I say, it's even had the belts done, and you've just got to stick with that maintenance schedule, haven't you? And I know it may be a bit pricey, because there's a lot of stuff you can't do yourself, because you've got to reset the computer. There may be people out there that can do it. There may be sort of like sub dealers or whatever you call them that can reset things like that for you, but I've done a few inquiries on that and they said no, you've got to go to Ducati to reset things. I have changed the battery on this. I've put a lithium battery in, which was about £160, but it's very light, and with it being a lithium, it's supposed to give you 60% more cranking power. I think it's called a Shido or something like that, but they do different ones anyway. So it's got that, and it's also got connectors on it where I can put, if I want, put a trickle charger on it, and also it charges as well if it needs a charge. But you can't use, on lithium batteries, you've got to use a specialist charger. You can't just use is it a gel battery charger, something like that, so correct me if I'm wrong. But so I got one of them because it gives you 60% more cranking power. This is very similar to the Harley Davidson, where when you press the button for it to start, it's got a very, I wouldn't say a very long delay, but it's like it's not going to start, but it does start, and it's just the nature of it. I don't know if it's anything to do with the clutch on it or anything like that, I don't know. But yeah, it's got a slipper clutch on it, so I don't know if it's got anything to do with that, about why it takes a long time to start. But it's not the battery, because I've changed the battery. There's an indicator, you know, it's a brand new battery, it's a good battery, so it's not the battery. But I know that you can change the main leads out on these. You can change them, and it does make a slight difference, but you know, I'm not being snobby about that. I'm not bothered about that. I'm not, you know, as long as it starts and I know it's going to start, and you get used to its starting pattern, I'm not bothered. It's just got so much power when you want it. But yeah, it's fantastic. It really is a fantastic bike. It's just got everything I need, and it's going to be a really good tourer for me. But like I say, it's probably going to cost me more money just to keep it maintained and stuff like that. But I knew that when I got it. It is a Ducati. But yeah, so it's very comfortable, quite quick, very torquey. Loving the mirrors. No vibration in the mirrors whatsoever, but they're really chunky mirrors. They remind me of like car mirrors, and because you've sort of like the mirrors sort of it adjusts, you know, it's sat in its shroud, they don't shake around everywhere, which is really good. Like I say, the handlebars are nice and wide, but not too wide. It's got the heated grips on this one as well, which they get really hot, by the way. Just take you a bit of getting used to there with that button, but once you get used to it, it's actually alright. It's like any bike, isn't it? And the lights on this bike are really good. The lights on the front, this has actually got the LED lights, so it's got the LED driving lights, and then it's got the main lights above it. The actual high beam, main beam, are not LEDs, but they're still very bright. But the LEDs, the twin lights, because we all know that I'm a bit anal when it comes to proportions, and both lights light up at the same time. That was one of the big things I didn't like about the Africa Twin, is the lights. And that's one thing I don't like about the GS's, are the lights. You look at it from the front and it just looks odd. I suppose that'd grow on you, and some people probably like that, but not for me. Yeah, do your homework. Make sure you don't buy a lemon as well. If you're going to buy one, again, like mine, make sure you know, a low mileage one's probably a good option. I would suggest thoroughly checking the bike over, make sure that it ticks all the boxes for you, and it's had all its maintenance when it should have had its maintenance. You know, check little things like, is there any moisture in the oil? But then you can think, well, it could be condensation and build up. but if you get white smoke as well with any oil, any white fogging in your oil, then you might be looking at your head gasket. So just be mindful of that. Just be mindful of things like that. But apart from that, I would highly recommend one of these bikes. And as all my bikes, who knows what tomorrow brings, but I don't know. But as it stands now, I really like this bike. I like everything about this bike, the way it rides. So straight away, and I say this is my first impression of this bike, and you know straight away whether you're gonna like it or not. And I pretty much got on this straight away, and I knew that I was gonna love it. So right, so that's me jabbering on a little bit. So let's just go for a ride. Right guys, I hope you've enjoyed this one. I certainly have. My first impression review of my new to me Ducati Multistrada 1200S, and it's been nice to get out and nice to get another video out for you guys. So if you've liked this, please consider that subscribe button, and please, if you liked it, please press the like button, because it does help the channel. Or the dislike, and of course any comments you may leave, any corrections you may want to put me right on. But yeah, until next time guys, remember, every day is an adventure. Yeah, it certainly is. Crazy out.